Alright, so in this video, we're going to do something really simple and quick. We're just going to be going over some of the basics of the UDW. So with that, the first thing you'll need to do is to get the UDW, which is the ultra dynamic yeah. You'll need to get ultra dynamic sky, which I already have this one. And then the easiest way to make sure that it works with your landscape materials is to also get OpenLand, which is $29.99 to get. Then once you have both of those, then you'll need to create a new project. So we'll just launch the 503. And we can do it any one of them. But we'll just go with the third person. I like to always make sure I've got the C++ enabled also. And we'll call this UDW tutorial. Create. And because I marked the C++, this will take just a minute because it's also got to open my Visual Studio on my other screen. And I'll put timestamps in here for the different pieces of this, so you can jump to what you need out of this little tutorial that I'm building. First, we'll just go to the level prototyping folder, create a new level, and we'll just name that UDW tutorial. Open that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so it's empty right now. We can go ahead and just create a base landscape. I'm not going to worry about the material at the moment. Fill world. And we'll just go with edit layers is marked. And then let's create world. Okay, we'll save that. I'm actually just going to close this back out real quick. Okay, so we have our tutorial here. We're going to add ultra dynamic sky to the UDW tutorial. And then we'll go ahead over to OpenLand. Oh, passed it up. And we'll queue that to also add. Okay, so it says those are added now. So now we're relaunching the UDW tutorial. All right, now we'll switch to our UD tutorial world. We're going to come down to Ultra Dynamic Sky, Blueprints. We're going to drag in our Ultra Dynamic Sky, or UDS. That gives us all of our basic fog and lighting. Then I'm going to go ahead and drag in the Ultra Dynamic Weather also. And it always kind of starts out on this rain. Make sure you're over here on the Details tab. And we'll set this to no light to help us see when it's working with the landscape. So right now we don't have any texture assigned, so it's just default. We only have the Ultra Dynamic Sky and Ultra Dynamic Weather. So I'm going to go in here to Ultra Dynamic Sky. Animate time of day. This is just all the little steps that I like to do. Simulate real moon, simulate real stars. If you check the simulate real sun, it can cause some problems, so I tend to not do that. This is where you could set up your specifics for your GPS coordinate. That adjusts the stars and moon and all that fun stuff. Then we'll make sure that we have the looking for, and this makes sure that it has the volumetric fog applied for you. I always forget how far down this is. This is the sunlight shafts, or the God shafts, heaven shafts, whatever you want to call them. Then the moon version of that. This is if you want to render water caustics below your water level, which is currently set to 0 on this map. You can apply interior adjustments to help make sure that you don't get weather bleed throughs in closed interiors. Okay, so that's the basics for Ultra Dynamic Sky. Now we go to Ultra Dynamic Weather, which is the main focus of this tutorial. We go up to the top. We've already selected light snow. And you can mess with any of these settings you want just to find the ones that work the best for the effect that you want to get. Currently we have snow particles on, rain particles on, dust particles are on. I like to use random weather variation. I'll leave the start alone though, so it'll start in whatever weather we have selected. Sure, we can enable wind debris. We'll probably not see it in this demo though. Sounds, occlusion. And here's one of your important ones. Under dynamic landscape weather effects, make sure you have enabled dynamic landscape weather checked. And I'm just marking some other options that I like to keep marked. Also recommend, if you're going to use the caustics, you'll also need to mark the use water level. And then make sure that the water level in both of those matches, so you get your accurate representation of the caustics. If you don't know what the caustics are, that's the kind of the shimmering that you see on pool bottoms or any water body bottom from the sun refracting through the water surface. Okay, and so that's the basics on this part. Then we look over here in the content, we should have our open land. Yep. All right. So now we can go to the landscape. Go to our materials. Okay, so basic open land. Let it build its maps. Then we'll come over to our landscape. Come over to paint. Then we'll need to make sure that we set up the specific for each of these. Okay. All right, that's got that basic set up. Let's go back to one of the other maps. See if we can fix this little error we're getting. All right, back to level prototyping. Oh, this is new. I've not had this problem before. Of course, it would have issues when I'm trying to show you how to do something. There we go. All right, so as you see right now, the snow's not collecting on the ground. So what we need to do to fix that is we'll go over here to the landscape. We'll go to the material. Open that material. I pull that back on screen here. And now since we have the open land, you can do this with any material that outputs to material attributes. We'll right click and just type in UDW. Click on the OpenLand UDW support. And then we just jump that one to there. Jump that one to there. Apply. Save. Wait for it to get done building its maps over there. And you can see it's acting funny, but we still now we have the snow on the surface. There we go. And so then if we want to pick a different ground texture, I'm not sure what's going on with my world here. So we can take like this ground texture. Then we can switch this to use material attributes over here on the left. Then make material attributes. And then again, the UDW helps if I can type today. Hit save. And there you go again. So that's really all there is to enabling it. There may be other ways to do it without getting OpenLand, but OpenLand was only $30. It's got a pretty decent landscape material. Now we can go. And we're getting some water interaction. I'm not seeing any puddles yet, though. Then if we go over here and we switch this to snow, so they're using one of the other open lands. Let's see. This one is using OpenLand theme default. This one should just work with it because you use. I'm not seeing it. Apply wetness, apply snow, apply dynamic trails, apply interactive ripples, snow dust. Okay, now, so those are all down under, they actually typed it out now. So dynamic landscape weather effects. And now it's still not showing it, but it should be. Let's see if the rain one is working. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any puddling yet either. Well, apparently the better method is the first way that I showed you, because going in and using their material instance doesn't seem to really be working. So there should be some white on the ground here. Because as you can see, over here, we've got that white. And so this is the recommended method that I do. I can show you here too what it will look like. with the rain. Let's go ahead and just go into it. See. You can see we've got the puddles. So, yeah, my recommended way is to do the process of going into the material. Again, I'll show you that one more time. We open the material. This one originally didn't have the make materials, so we had to come over to the use material attributes, reconnect everything where it needs to go, add the OpenLand UDW support, and then connect that to your material output. And you can do that for any material. You can do that for material functions as well. And I can do another video later on that if anybody needs it. The material functions is what I normally use now because it allows me a little more versatility. And that's pretty much the basics for ultradynamic sky, ultradynamic weather. Something else that I do, depending on how well you know blueprints, is whether you should attempt it or not. I like to go into my ultradynamic sky and the little basic settings that you saw me changing. I'll actually come in, go into the ultradynamic sky blueprint, and I'll set all those settings over here, like my 11 a.m., sun up at 7:30, sun down at 7:30. So all these little settings, animate with time of day. So all this little stuff, I'll actually adjust it here. So that way, any world that I drop it into defaults to the settings that I like, and I don't have to change it for each level that I want to have these settings on. So that's just another little side note. Hope this video was somewhat helpful. If you got any other questions or comments or anything that I might be able to help you out with here, then please feel free to ask down in the comments, and I'll be glad to get back to you with that. And if I don't know, then I'll see if I can find somebody that does. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you find this video useful or helpful in some way. And have a good day.